Hello friends, and thanks for joining me for today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. Before we get started, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the description box and the comment section for links to the products used, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll always get back to you. All right, now let's get started. Okay, so today we are working with alcohol inks. I'm working on Amazon Basics photo paper on the matte side, and the colors I'm using are crimson, dandelion, citrus, pitch black, snowcap for the center. I also have some alcohol. My airbrush and the compressor is set at 40 psi. I have my blow dryer. I'll also be using a gel pen and some micron pens later on. So initially when I started this painting, I was attempting to redeem myself for a video that I did previously where I had envisioned a flower and how I wanted it to look, and when I got to the paper, it just did not turn out the way I had imagined. I ended up with a really pretty flower, but it didn't look anything like what I had in mind. So I thought that if I put down the colors and I dry them first, and then put down the alcohol and blow them out, that it would work. And I think it would have, but the problem was that the color crimson, I don't know why, was very thick. It's probably a very old bottle and I didn't tighten it well, but the crimson just was not moving as well as I would like it to. And I ended up switching to red pepper. I think that's the name of the color. I ended up switching to that color and that was flowing nicely, but I really only wanted a touch of red. After I started blowing this out, I changed my mind as I go along. I liked the way that petal looked a lot, so I figured I would just blow out a couple more petals using the red, and then I would just use the citrus and dandelion. So now you can see that I lost the black in the center, so I added a little bit more. And the reason for that is because my paper was kind of curled and I did not straighten it out. So the alcohol was moving in directions that I didn't want it to. So if you're working with photo paper, make sure you try to straighten it out as best you can before you start blowing out your flowers. Otherwise, you'll find that your alcohol and your inks are going to go in directions you don't want them to. So you'll see that later on I try to hold the paper down with my finger. And now I'm just using the citrus and dandelion, and I'm getting these beautiful colors. Make sure you stick around till the end of the video because the colors in this flower do not show up well because I have a lot of lights in my studio. So at the end of the video, I've posted a picture of this painting in natural light, and you can see just how vibrant the yellow is. It's gorgeous. So now I'm just trying to move around the colors that are the inks that are already on the paper. So I'm just using straight alcohol. And you can see that it moves the colors real nice. And I'm also getting some blue from the pitch black. So I'm just blowing a couple of petals, make sure that I like the composition. And once I'm finished, I'm going to take my micro brush, put a little bit of black, pitch black on it, and I'm going to dot a center back into this flower. Now I'm using just alcohol on that micro brush, and I'm trying to soften the edges of that black. I don't want them to be hard lines. Now, there are petals in this flower that I simply don't like. And this is something I do very often, and it saves so many of my paintings. I am removing the areas that I don't like with the Posca pens. And this pack that I have, you can see it has a variety of different sizes. So I have very fine tips to very broad tips, and this makes filling in those areas that I don't like very easy. And you can see how it's also helping the petals stand out, and it actually makes the painting more dramatic. I love doing this. It really makes the flower pop, in my opinion. So now I'm getting my snow cap. I'm going to put it in my little shot glass there. And I'm going to use a new micro brush to dot in my center. And I'm going to be adding layers. Now this first layer that I'm adding, and even part of the second layer, you can see that it's being absorbed by the pitch black underneath. But as I always tell you, that creates a really nice foundation for your center. Now I'm using my blow dryer to dry the snow cap and make it a little bit thicker. I find that when I do this, it makes it show up much better. I just dry it a little bit. So you can see how much more it stands out now. It's no longer being absorbed by the pitch black. And I'm also adding dots outside of that center, and I'll be using a black gel pen to connect those outside dots to the center in just a moment. First, I'm making sure that everything is completely dry, because if it's not, it will start to clog up my gel pen. And you can see that I keep running the gel pen on my paper towel to remove any of the snow cap that may have stuck to it and is clogging up the pen. Now, if you don't have a gel pen with a really fine tip like I have here, you can also use a micron pen with a fine nib. That'll work just as well. I'm also adding a few little lines in the center of the flower. And I'm really liking the way this is looking so far. So my flower wasn't centered, so I decided to crop it a little bit with my handy dandy little trimmer here. I love this thing. And of course I have to add a border. So I'm using a Posca pen with a broad nib, and I'm just running it along the edge and creating a nice thin border. It also covers up any of the ugly edges that you may not like. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you give it a try. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.